Hello Mohan. Thanks for coming along for another discussion.
That's quite all right, Albert. You mentioned last time that you were keen to discuss further on the Occupy Wall Street scenario.
Yes, indeed I am. Even since we last spoke, it seems to be gathering more and more momentum, and not just in America but all over the world.
Yes, I have been watching.
Last time we discussed this, you mentioned civil disobedience and local community action. Surely what the people are doing is an example of both of these things?
From what I can see, there are certainly elements of these philosophies being acted out. However, it appears that the large part of Occupy Wall Street are protesting against capitalism and the banking system. As you pointed out in our first discussion, these are both futile protests.
But do they amount to civil disobedience?
In my humble opinion, Albert, I don't feel they do. I think for such a philosophy to work, there are three factors that must be understood.
Go on.
First, they must have numbers. Numbers are key to any act of civil disobedience having an effect. One man disobeying something unjust makes a statement, and shows personal courage. However, it is too easy for this one act to be ignored.
But surely they have numbers, Mohan. We are talking about thousands of people.
Well, these led to my second point, Albert. After numbers comes a common agenda, goal or cause. Back when I was on Earth, our acts were not divided. We were together on one thing, which was to effect the British leaving India. What is the common cause with Occupy Wall Street?
I suppose the title would make it a common cause, but the fact it is taking place all over the world signifies many differing causes. And yes, as we know, they are protesting and fighting against capitalism and the banking system.
Indeed. The third point is there must be an unjust law, or a collection of laws, that they are commonly disobeying. What is being disobeyed in Occupy Wall Street?
Mostly the police. I get your points, Mohan, but what would be a better action in your opinion?
It is very hard to say from here, my friend. I feel that it starts with the things that are affecting them the most. It could be taxation. It could be laws against free speech. Whatever it is, it must be something that is unjust and affects them all.
I suppose if everyone was to stop paying tax, then the system would face a serious challenge, and would be forced to listen. But how can people fight against rising food and energy prices? Surely civil disobedience cannot work here?
Most astute of you, Albert. Indeed, it would never work in this regard. Which brings us nicely to local community action.
I see. Carry on.
In this regard, it is important to understand that human beings have lost the knowledge of how to use the earth to provide them fuel and energy. This is mainly due to the lifestyles that have become a byproduct of capitalism.
Do you mean that people are now used to having the food provided by supermarkets and takeaways, and their energy piped into their homes?
Indeed. And it is also important to remember that the energy being provided is harming the planet and unsustainable. Also, the food they are eating is genetically modified and provides very little nutritional content.
But what has that to do with local community action?
Man now has wonderful technology. And it is people at ground level, not politicians, who build such wonderful things. Now people would do well to gather that knowledge and use it within their own communities.
I see. Carry on.
By combining technology and ancient land practices, man can grow all the food he needs on a local level. However, this requires local people to firstly recognize they are able to learn the skills, and secondly to put it into practice.
And what about energy, Mohan?
Once again, Albert, there are solutions. Right now on Earth there are many different ways of providing energy that don't harm the planet. Geothermal energy is a good example, as is tidal energy. Man should harness these and the other types of technology. Used locally, people will no longer have the need to pay for energy and food from a corporation.
You make the points very well. I must admit I would be glad to see man move away from nuclear power and the burning of fossil fuels. I have enjoyed this discussion, Mohan. We must speak again soon.
Albert, the next time we speak I will be asking you about money creation. It has been keeping me up all night and my wife is starting to get annoyed with me. I look forward to speaking to you again.
See you soon, my friend.